Hello and good morning. Today is the last day of 2021, and so much has happened in the last couple of years. We're literally living revelation. So I wanted to come up on here and just make you aware of where we're at in Revelations in this time as we're entering a new year, a new time. It is the golden time of Aquarius. It is Revelations where everything will be revealed. So, if you guys aren't too familiar with Revelations, which is the ending of the Bible, of the New Testament, it says that there's going to be two women. One is going to be the Scarlet on top of the beast. Which the beast is all man that's doing, all that negative, dark work right now in the world. And then there's going to be the bride. The bride is going to bring the church to God. And what that is just being truthful, just sharing truth, because Revelations means everything revealed. So everything will come into the light so that we can make the right choice, because nothing's going to be veiled. A lot of stuff is behind the veil that's going on, and a lot of things are being exposed right now. So the main thing that's being exposed right now, and that's why I went to Revelations, the Scarlet on the beast, we have Ghislaine Maxwell, which is she was found guilty. I was really waiting for this outcome before I spoke on it. Jeffrey Epstein, there's tons of Netflix documentaries on him. His truth was exposed a while ago, and if you don't know, I will tell you a little bit. So this was a man that was in the very involved with people from around the world, very powerful people like princesses and prince and Saudi Arabian, authority, Jewish government. He was in with the main people around the world, including Mr. Clinton himself, right? And the reason he had all these connections, even though he was a registered a sex offender for minors, because he did get arrested a while ago, and but that didn't matter because the connections he had were so powerful because of money that nobody cared. So it was kind of like hush hush. So anyways, he had all these connections with these people, and the reason he did is because he was able to launder the money or hide the money of these people, people, prime ministers from different parts of the world. He was doing that, and he was putting them in accounts, and this is all fact. I mean, you can literally go into the Netflix show Filthy Rich. There's a new one on HBO, which is The Secrets She Kept, and that was just on Ghislaine herself. But anyway, so he had all these connections, and it was all rooted from money. So because this man was able to hide money for all these very important people in the world, then he became very good friends with them. He also, because of money, because of the root of all evil, because remember, God wants you abundant, but not to worship money. And they were doing everything for the money. It wasn't about helping anybody. It was about just living in the flesh. And all these people were actually being flown into his private island, and we know what happened in his private island, because now Ghislaine herself is found guilty for all that. And I want to tell you a little bit of how she came into the picture. So Jeffrey Epstein was someone that connected with the CEO of Victoria's Secrets and another clothing line. He was he was just in the fashion scene, and Mr. Epstein himself made himself, into that realm with him, and he took control of all his money. So when he had that control, he got to meet a lot of people, but he still was not in the statue he wanted to be. Then came along Ghislaine. This was like the 80s and 90s. Now, Ghislaine was the daughter of a very, very powerful Jewish man. The Maxwell family was very powerful. They had gone through the Holocaust, and because they went through that, they never again wanted to be, controlled. So they knew if they controlled the money, they would control everything. So he went ahead, and his family started to buy all the newspapers, because he knew if he can control the information that goes out in the world, he can control the money as well as it comes in. And so that's what he was doing. He became very good friends with everybody in Jerusalem, the actual government there, because let's be honest, the Jewish people do run the whole show when it comes to finances. They own all the bank systems, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. But let's get back to Maxwell. So Maxwell had a lot of very tight connections with very powerful people around the world. So in that time, Jeffrey Epstein started to become a little bit part of the scene, very important people, because again, this guy was managing like this huge company, and he was the one in charge of everything. Like, you couldn't go straight to the owner of Victoria's Secret. You had to go straight to Jeffrey. So anyway, so they met, and Mr. Maxwell, which was the father of Ghislaine, was that's a whole other video. But anyways, he survived the Holocaust, and he was very controlling. He had several children, and Ghislaine was the baby. And the baby, she was always around him, whatever she wanted. And again, because they owned all the newspapers, Ghislaine was literally in the middle of everything with, the royal family. She was just always involved. And Maxwell, her father, was thinking, you know what, this is a perfect match. I can, have my daughter with Jeffrey, and now Jeffrey has all this control as well. He actually saw him like, a mini him, a very powerful man, but he was younger. So he was like, perfect, I'm gonna, have them get together, and we can go even further, right? And again, Jeffrey Epstein was also, at that time, already laundering money through art. So, I mean, millions of dollars are hard to carry from one place to another, but a piece of art can cost millions of dollars, and they just transport one painting. And so that's what he was doing for all these elites around the world, because it's not so much how to make the money, because they have it, it's how to hide it. And that's what he was doing. So they became a perfect pair. When Maxwell died, the official report, which is the father of Ghislaine, when he died, he died of a heart attack, supposedly. There is rumors that the Jewish government killed him because he wasn't just doing what they wanted him to do anymore. But that's just things that people say. Again, he had a heart attack, he died, but when he died, none of the money, now you got to remember, this is a very, very rich family, and he owned all these newspapers. So when he died, the inheritance got frozen, because they found out that Maxwell was, because there was times, I guess, that money wasn't flowing enough, so instead of calming down on their spending, because it was like lavish spending around the world. Ghislaine was all over. I mean, she was traveling like the king and queen. She was hanging out in the castle, etc. So anyways, this lavish lifestyle had a price, and they would run out of money at one point. So instead of stopping, he started using the retirement money of his companies. So when that happened, there was a huge lawsuit, and so his estate, his money, was no more. So Ghislaine could not continue that lifestyle. So what did she do? She ended up being with Epstein 100% of the time, whatever he wanted. You've seen videos come up where she's massaging him. They look like they were a couple, but she was actually a recruiter for children, and she took part in all of it, also in the abuse. And she, again, I'm not excusing anything, I'm just telling you the story of how we got here. And again, everything's being exposed because now she's found guilty, right? And she was in the middle of all of it. So I believe she's the Scarlet on top of the beast, because a lot of people would say, oh, it's the Queen Elizabeth. She's, on top of 75% of the world. She controls it all, But I believe it's this lady. I don't even want to call her a lady, but this Scarlet, you know, because she knew and she would recruit. She's the one that introduced Epstein to Bill Clinton. She's the one that introduced Epstein to the royal family. She was that middle person. Bill Gates was introduced to him because of that. There was everybody that you can think of that's on top, it was there, and he would have these lavish parties in his house and his different homes he had in New York and around the world. And he always had beautiful women there, and a lot of them were underage. And I believe that what he did to control the whole situation, not only was he controlling the money, but he was controlling all these desires that these people end up having, because they can't feel anymore. They can't feel anything with just, you know, a man and woman. It's they can have any woman and they want. They can, you know, then they can go to any man they want, and then it's like, what else do we want? Well, okay, now younger, and then that's not enough. Okay, well, let's torture. Well, that's not enough. And it's all because they're trying to feel something, but they're so dark, they don't feel anything. And that's why they go that deep. And Jeffrey Epstein was recording things and was logging things to have that over them. And he was, and you know, you don't know if these people were like, oh, this is what I want, and he was the provider. I think he presented all these things to them, and they just fell for it. And that's where we're at. We're at the point where Giselle is going to, not Giselle, sorry, Ghislaine. I always say her name wrong. Ghislaine is about to expose more people that were participating around the world. These very, very influential people from around the world were involved, and all that is going to fall. And she's doing this because she's trying to get a lower sentence. A lot of people think she's going to die before she starts saying any names, because that's what happened to Epstein. You know, the story is that he killed himself. I think they killed him because they didn't want him to speak. Again, now she's about to and you know, tell this truth about the people that control the entire world. Ex-presidents. Bill Gates, I mean, come on, these organizations that we look at, oh, they're helping, you know, the Bill Gates organization, the Clinton Foundation. When you start following all this, you start realizing that it's all connected. That's just a way of them washing money. So the first time that Epstein got arrested and convicted for some of these charges, when he came out, they already had a plan, and they started to what is the word that they use when they help the world? Philanthropist. He became that, and he had Ghislaine do the same thing. So they were very much into helping the world so that people could forget all the bad that he had done. He had been convicted of getting these young girls and doing this horrible things to them, but he was trying to change your attention to all this good he was doing, and that's exactly what he did. And he ended up being with the Bill Gates Foundation. He ended up being with the Clinton organization as well, and these are all nonprofit, so they're not to make money, but so much money goes through there. So again, it's another way to wash the money. So again, here we are, about to start a new year. We are in Revelations. All truth shall be revealed, and we're seeing it. And if you don't want to see this any more clearer, I mean, if you can't see this as clear as it is, like, we're literally seeing this. They're going to crumble. You know, everybody's going to crumble. All these people that have been controlling the world is going to crumble, and we're seeing it. Because I do believe in the promise of 1,000 years of love and peace. And that's what's coming when all this breaks, when all this matrix breaks. And it's about to break right in front of our eyes. So be aware and be love. And remember that everything is choice. We've all been hurt, but we're not going to continue to hurt, you know, just to make us feel better. We're going to actually heal by loving one another, loving ourselves, and making the right choice out of love. And when that happens, that's it. That's when we have the promise of 1,000 years of love and peace, because we all find out the truth, and the truth is love. We have to stop fighting and stop doing this nonsense, because the only thing that makes us feel, the only reason we're here is because of love. We are human, and we're having this experience in this human body right now, but we are the spirit, we are the light, and we are love. So remember that. Remember who you are as we enter this new year, 2022, and that equals a 2, 4, 6. And remember, God starts everything with a cycle. It looks like a little coil, it looks like a 6, right? And in Revelations also, remember, man is trying to imitate God. The beast is trying to be God. So they're trying to come in with all the signs that God has. So that's why the beast will come in with the 666. And it says that in Revelations. But again, it's the beast trying to duplicate the number 6, because it is the start of all creation. Every plant, when you're inside of your mother's stomach, you're a little coil. So 6 is not bad. It's just the beast trying to be God. So remember that we're in this beautiful time of awareness, and it's up to us to make the right choice, make yourself accountable, and start with self. And when you start with self, you start with love. So God bless you, and welcome 2022.